Kia ora. Welcome to the first AI show event of 2024. Please welcome our first speaker, Joanna O'Connor from the Auckland Theatre Company.
My case study that I'm going to share with you today is about how that small not-for-profit organisation in New Zealand was able to use AI on a shoestring budget, because I felt that at the time all the exposure I'd had to AI was from large advertising agencies or the likes of Spark, or a lot of these organisations that were building big brains and doing things that we couldn't afford to do. So I discovered a tool called Midjourney. I've explored since using Midjourney, of course, DALL-E and Microsoft Copilot, and I will still be going back to Midjourney. For me, it's given us the best results. I put the same prompt into the three platforms, and I still believe that Midjourney is giving me the best response back. But to start with that, I kind of have to take you back as to why a performing arts organisation in the middle of the script writers guild strikes around the world turned to an AI engine to help come up with creative ideas. And that, just to condense that down really quickly, it basically came because our creative agency dumped us, and that was because when you're paying shoestring rates to big agencies, they want to be able to give their creative directors free license to come up with award-winning work or do really fun stuff. But for us, we're a very commercially driven organisation, and we weren't there to kind of promote our shows in a way that was really creatively expressive for their creative directors. We needed things that were going to connect with a broad audience of Auckland, but also with some of our works, it was with communities, communities like the Pacifica community or the Māori community or the Southeast Asian community. One of the directives from our artistic director, Jonathan Bielski, is that our work doesn't reflect Herne Bay and Remuera, it reflects Auckland. We are Auckland's theatre company, and so our stories really need to do that. So with a lot of different levers that I needed to make sure that our artwork catered to, being in the middle of artistic on one side, who really saw marketing as an extension of their work, and then I had a creative agency on the other side who wanted to use us to win some awards. They weren't getting what they needed, so they dumped us. So it sat on me. It's August last year, and I'm like, great, I've got 8 shows that are going to be on at the ASB Waterfront Theatre next year. How am I going to make the poster artwork? How am I going to cater these designs? So as a bit of fun, because I had been personally using ChatGPT for basically since it came out, I turned to Midjourney, and I put in a prompt, and I basically taught myself how to use it in an afternoon. I did a lot of prompt investigation, and I then started showing my team how to use it. And so this marketer that had zero experience with how to use this and how to come up with creative concepts, I suddenly became my own creative director, and I was able to then take concepts, multiple concepts, to the artists and present to them the work. I also didn't tell the artists that I also put their script into Chat PDF, and it gave me a great synopsis and bullet points. So I also outsourced reading the scripts as well to then help me come up with the ideas to then put into the prompt. But a lot of the imagery that it came back to me was super valuable, and I really enjoyed the interface and the platform of Midjourney. And a lot of this artwork, it wasn't for me to replace using a photographer, replace using the talent, or replace anybody on the artistic side of things. It did replace the agency. But what I used it for was actually storyboarding. So that when I was in the room with the artist, with the talent, with the photographer, with the retoucher, everybody looked at the same picture. Now, I could type up 1,000 words, but being able to actually show them what I wanted was really useful. So This was for an upcoming play we have later this year, which is Girls and Boys. I put in the prompt of what I wanted. I wanted hues of orange and blue, and I wanted an attractive woman with wild hair and bare feet sitting on a couch in a suburban environment. And that was the final artwork that we produced, with everybody, as I said, the whole creative team on the same page. I wanted to show Peter Pan flying out a Victorian window, sailing into the sunset of 19th century Tamaki Makaurau. And it did put the Sky Tower in the background. So luckily, the retoucher was able to put Rangitoto in the background, which would have been there in the 20th century. The Sky Tower came in 1995. We're doing scenes from a climate era, which is about looking at 1,000 years of the environment in the world. It's an Australian production, but I wanted to kind of really juxtaposition the image by having what teenagers of the future could potentially be doing. So I had a whole lot of teenagers sitting on the beach in bikinis on a snow beach in New Zealand. And for some reason it wanted to make it a beer ad, but again, the retouchers were able to sort that one out. And we went for a production, and we now have production artwork, which I think it could have been difficult to describe that, but it was really good that I was able to like send them down the path that I really wanted for that one. This one was really interesting. This is actually on next month at the theatre. The creatives for this are an incredible Samoan group that were really clear about that they were doing a modern day succession or King Lear story. It's basically an epic Samoan battle of succession. And to tell that story, they really wanted to have a Caravaggio-esque image. And so I went into Midjourney and I said, give me a Caravaggio with all people of colour and with Jesus in the middle. And it gave me this. It interpreted like fine art in a way that I couldn't have even imagined. And it was so beautiful. It even added this kind of like floral treatment down the bottom, which is perfect for our mandatories. So I was able to have the artwork made just like that for our production. The last show that we have this year is a Sri Lankan story about a young man learning about his history through finding mixtapes that his mum used to listen to when she immigrated from Sri Lanka to New Zealand. And so we wanted to do something which would really honour the music, but would also show kind of first generation New Zealand tone to it. So a mixtape for Melodies was made using that storyboard. The big production that we're doing this year is The Effect. This is actually written by the same writer of HBO's Succession, Lucy Prebble. It's a phenomenal script. I did actually read that one. And so we were able to get something, and then the talent knew what to do, but the retoucher went a bit rogue, but we loved it. So there's still creative license. AI isn't replacing everybody. You certainly won't have one person at the Auckland Theatre Company ruling everything in the future, although maybe our artistic director would say that that would be easier. But with all the people that are involved, we still have that creative license and we still have that ability to really explore what we want to do, but it simplifies the conversation of ego. It simplifies the conversation with everybody understanding the same direction that we want to go creatively. So then I thought I would share with you some of the trigger issues that are associated with AI. Now, I know that AI is learning in leaps and bounds at the moment, so some of this may not be as relevant now as it previously was, but I thought that I would still share those. I do just want to put out there to tangata whenua out there that I apologise that there may be some things that you're about to see which are offensive. So the first one is racial stereotyping. The AI tool that was coming back based on some of the prompts I was giving was at first time, second time, and third time quite poor. And so I was comfortable looking at these images and understanding that they were inappropriate. It's certainly not something that I would want some of my junior staff to see. The other thing that I saw was it was very US-centric machine learning data sources. When I'm asking it for Pacifica dancing, and it's showing in 90s, and it's because we have hyperspace on at the moment, and it's giving me things like this. It was really showing me more of like a Hawaiian or an American Samoa as opposed to the Samoan or Pacifica dancing that we would think of. I do constantly see this in any content that I see that is generated by AI, which is there is a gender bias. And I'm not sure if you will spot this, but the man is in front of the woman in every single one of these images. And these are supposed to be siblings sitting side by side. And so it's really soft stuff that as a human, if you're not hyper aware to this, you can let that kind of propaganda go into the marketplace. So it's just really important to always be aware of those biases. And just downright frightening body dysmorphia. We've got like Neanderthal face up the front. There's actually a hidden head in the flowers, and all sorts of things. So yeah, there was some interesting things that came through. And then the last one, just in general backgrounds, I'm sure anybody who does a lot of social media content here is aware, is that bright images tend to work best. And a lot of the backgrounds you will have seen from nearly all the examples that I sent through are black backgrounds. So it's really hard to program it to not do a black background. That was just some of the things that I was experiencing. So that is how Auckland Theatre Company created its 2024 season using AI. We welcome you for a corporate membership. We want you to come and see the shows and support New Zealand art, because even though we're using AI to come up with creative concepts, we're only replacing the agencies. We're not replacing any of the artistic people who still need your money.